Hey, I'm Christopher JMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm very glad you stopped by. Guess what? You guessed right. Today, we are doing a palette review. What palette are we reviewing, you may ask? Well, I will tell you, kind lady or gentleman, or neither or both. I will tell you that today, we are reviewing the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Mini Breaker Palette. You may be wondering, Chris, today's the 20th, not the 21st, which is the release date of the Mini Breaker and the entire summer 2019 collection of Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I would be wondering that myself, but wonder no more. I got this from JeffreeStarCosmetics.com when I ordered it because Jeffree made it available for 20 minutes, like 3 or 4 days ago. He just randomly put it on Twitter that he was making the palette live for 20 minutes. So I jumped on that immediately. Needless to say, I have it in hand and it is here and ready for the review. I was debating whether or not I was going to review it whenever the rest of my Jawbreaker collection came in, but I figured why not go ahead and review it now? I'm honestly so excited to have it and I need to dig into it like immediately. So if you want to know everything there is to know about the Mini Breaker palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. Okay, I'm so excited. As you saw, this is the Mini Breaker palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. This is the unit carton that it came in. This is a really cool unit carton. It has that like chartreusey highlighter yellow / green color, but it's got the Jawbreaker texture, so it has all like the splatter paint looking stuff, which is really awesome to me. Then we flip it over and we have all the ingredients and details of the shades, Jeffree Star Cosmetics logo, and some social information on the bottom with a fancy barcode. That is a special barcode. It's a Jeffree Star Cosmetics barcode. Then we flip it back over and we open the package, and then we have the palette. And honestly, I was so excited whenever he tweeted out that he was selling these for 20 minutes. I was like, yes, yes, please. At first I thought it was a joke actually, but then I actually got on Twitter and saw that it was real. So of course I ordered it. Now the Mini Breaker palette is $28 by itself, or you can actually purchase it within a bundle of the Mini Breaker palette and the full-size Jawbreaker palette, and you can get both for $75. Based on the website I'm reading from right now, it is beautybrainsblush.com. If you want to check that out yourself, you can do so and see all the details I'm reading. This palette has 9 shades. It's the same formula as the Blue Blood and the Blood Sugar palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, except for one shade. One shade is the first ever duochrome eyeshadow shade for Jeffree Star Cosmetics. This palette does have 2 shades that are also in the Jawbreaker palette, those of which being Bubblegum and Bite Me, which I will show you in just a minute. And this palette will be available officially June 21st, 2019 at 10 a.m. PST. Honestly, I didn't even know for sure if I was going to order this palette until he came out with it before everything else. And I feel like that was a really good plan on his part. It was really smart. So we're gonna go ahead and open the palette and see what it looks like. Well, isn't that absolutely beautiful? So as you can see, this is the palette itself. It has a very pretty color story. There's a couple of cool tones, a couple of warm tones, but there's a couple of pinks you can use. And I feel like even though this eyeshadow palette has 9 shades, there's still a lot of versatility within it. And now that we have it open, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you in and we're gonna get to swatching. All right, our first shade is Double Scoop. Then we have Orange Crush. Then we have Foreplay. Oh, pardon my nail, if you would. Sorry about that. It's the only one done. One of my classmates in cosmetology school wanted to practice acrylic nails, so I let her practice acrylic nails in her zebra print. So that's why I have one random acrylic nail. Just thought I'd clarify. Moving on, we have the shade Oral, the shade Purple Punch, the shade Slice. Then we have the shade Bubblegum. The shade Bite Me. Wow. And finally the shade Hot Fudge. And as always, I will insert photos of the swatches, the first being without flash, here. And with flash, here. And of course I can't go without giving you guys a video of the swatches. That is the DUOCHROME, and that is gorgeous. It goes from purple to blue. These are just beautiful, guys. That last shade looks like it should be in the Alien palette. Those swatched so good. The only one that didn't really swatch the greatest was Hot Fudge, the like cool toned brown, purple, gray down here, which I didn't really anticipate it to because it is that color, and I don't usually see colors like that are like super creamy. But since this is like the Blue Blood and the Blood Sugar palettes, and it's the same formula, I know it's gonna perform well. I already know because I know those perform beautifully. Like literally the best palettes I've ever used when it comes to quality. And this color story is so cute. You have so many different options. You know, you can go monochromatic and go with like a yellow orange kind of vibe, or you can go with a pinky purple vibe, or just a flat purple, or just a flat pink, or purple and orange, or you can deepen any of the shades up with the Hot Fudge shade. It's just, there are a lot of options with this, and I like that, especially for it being just a 9-pan palette. It's cool that he was able to still capture the idea of the step up from a rainbow in a 9-pan palette, because there's definitely some shades missing from it to make a rainbow, but you get the idea. It still has a lot of workability and versatility. It sounded really cool and I just made that up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes with the P. Louise base, and we're gonna try out a look with this palette. I cannot wait to order this collection tomorrow. I tried so hard to get on the Jeffree Star PR list whenever he was doing his PR search. If you didn't know, he was adding 25 people to his PR search, and of course all of Twitter was shooting for the same thing I was, so we all band together and boost each other up and promote each other and show off our looks and show off others' looks. And it's actually a really fun and awesome thing whenever this whole community can come together and help each other and boost each other. And it was so funny and awesome, a little sad, but still funny and awesome, because there was this moment when there were 3 people that got shared in a row. It was one girl that I love who loves like punky kind of color. Then there was another girl that I love who does a lot of like really artistic looks and like very avant-garde, if you will. And then myself, and we were all shared like in a row pretty much. And it was so cool because I saw each one of them get added like in the order that they were shared. So you could imagine the last like 10 minutes of that edition of that like search for the PR list, my heart was racing because I was like, oh, those 2 just got it and I was the 3rd one in that share list. Am I gonna be next? So I was like really freaking out about it, hoping and waiting. It didn't happen, and that's okay. I'm really happy for them, and I'm glad they did. Honestly, the 2 I'm talking about deserve it so much. They work so hard, and their looks are so bomb too. It's just really cool to see the whole community come together and really just push for success and love and promotion, and it's just an awesome thing to see. And I'm very happy I get to be a part of that. Okay, my eyes are primed and I have a tacky base, so I think I'm gonna start out with the shade Bubblegum right here. And I'm gonna be using my JS5. Oh, I was so excited to film this video, I completely forgot to shave. I am so sorry for all of my scruff So I think that's all I want to do with the shade Bubblegum. This built up so well on my lid. Like, there's no patchiness at all, but where I laid the color at over and over again, it's just so pigmented and rich. Which, like I said, honestly, I didn't expect anything less from this formula. It just blows my mind every time, honestly. I don't know if I'll ever get used to it. Now, what I'm about to try is gonna be really weird, but that's what rainbow palettes are for, right? Let's be weird, why not? So I'm gonna go into the shade Orange Crush right here. This actually has little glitter particles in it. It's an orange, but it has, I think, yellow-orange glitter particles. And I'm gonna put that in the inner half of my crease. And I'm gonna be using my JS6 brush. Ooh, that shade is very powdery. Like, in the pan, it has quite a bit of kickback in it, if you can see. That's not really a huge deal to me. Yeah, it's kind of annoying because I have to like blow the kickback off whenever I'm done with the palette to not make a mess, but it's still not a big deal. I mean, as long as it's not falling out all over my face, then I'm okay with it. Wow, look at that orange. That is beautiful. Super pigmented too. Oh, and something to note about this palette as well is that there are actually only 2 eyeshadows in this palette, one of which is Double Scoop and the other is Hot Fudge. Those 2 are the actual only eyeshadows in this palette. The rest are not intended for use around the eye area because they are pressed pigments. And really all that means is that there may be staining for sensitive eyes. A lot of eyeshadow palettes nowadays do have a lot of pressed pigments in them that most of us just use on our eyes anyway. They just have to put that disclaimer on there because if your products are vegan, then you have to use a dye instead of a color that comes from a bug, essentially. And those dyes can stain. I honestly think I've only ever had my eyes stained twice, and they were both from a pink. Not a big deal though, just grab some concealer, you're good the next day. Now, since these are pressed pigments, the way that I use them and the way that I suggest you use them is if you want to really build up color, pack it on first before you blend out the edges, which is what I've done. That's why there's such a strong separation between the pink and the orange. So now I'm gonna go back in with my JS6 brush and back into the shade Bubblegum, and this is where we truly test the quality of the shadows. Because if you're gonna have a bad shadow, if nothing happened whenever you were packing on color, the next step is to see if something happens whenever you start blending color. Like if they don't blend together, if you start getting a patchy spot, if whenever you build up too many shadows, they start falling off instead, so on and so forth. So I'm gonna blend Bubblegum into Orange Crush. Oh yeah, that was perfect. That blended exactly how it was supposed to. So now instead of there being that super harsh line in between it, it fades perfectly from a soft bubblegum pink to a vibrant, beautiful Orange Crush orange. Now, something that is pretty common whenever you're blending out shadows, especially pressed pigments anyway, is whenever you blend them into each other, you end up losing a little bit of the opacity of the pigment on the main sections where you had it, because you're obviously taking the color from that area and blending it to another area. So you just want to build that up a little bit more afterward. Although this isn't really a tutorial, I don't know why I'm making it a tutorial. It could be a tutorial. If you want to recreate this look, tag me. Now I'm gonna take the shade Purple Punch, that's the purple right in the middle, and with my Morphe M433 crease brush, I'm going to put that right in my crease and just start building that up to give my eye a little bit of dimension. Wow. That was like 3 seconds of blending, and it's blended. Literally melted into the other shadow. Man, let's see if I can pull some of it over into the orange. Now, using a clean Morphe M330 tapered blending brush, I'm just gonna go around the edges of everything and just soften them and blend them out so that it's a nice smooth gradient. Okay, this is getting really difficult now because I kind of don't know where to go from here. So I'm gonna start by taking the shade Double Scoop and putting that on my inner corner and pretty much the inner half of my lid, and then I'm gonna go in with the shade Bite Me on the other half of my lid. So using my M204 brush, I'm gonna put the shade Bite Me on the, I guess, outer half of my lid. It's very chunky at first. It's blending out pretty well though. I mean, for no setting spray or anything. A little fallout on that one. Granted, I didn't tap off any excess from the brush before I went in, just because I wanted the most pigmentation possible from the shimmer. I feel like it's almost a guarantee with just about any eyeshadow palette that if you don't tap the excess off the brush, that excess is going to fall on your face. Unless the palette has no pigment. Okay, I've got the purple in, I think about as far as I want it to go. Now I'm gonna use the Morphe M124 flat brush and go into the shade Slice. For some reason, I feel like this is going against my better judgment, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, wow. Ooh, that's really cool, I like that. Okay. I guess it's good to go against your better judgment sometimes then. I really like that. Now I'm gonna go back in with the Morphe M433 crease blending brush and just barely blend out the edges where I put the shimmer shades just so they're not such a harsh edge. And done. Awesome. So now that I've finished up all of the eyeshadow in my crease and on my lids, I'm gonna go ahead and get my base makeup done. So my foundation, concealer, contour, blush, highlight, the whole shebang. Once I do that, we'll finish the lower lash line, and then I will tell you my thoughts and opinions on the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Mini Breaker eyeshadow palette. We are back from that brief intermission. For you it was brief, for me it was like a really long time. Like, I watched a YouTube video, I uploaded a YouTube video, I replied to like 15 comments on that video. So at this point, I've probably had this eyeshadow on for about 3 hours, really. Now I'd like to go ahead and actually finish the eyeshadow and really get to the nitty-gritty of this palette. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is take this Luxie 131 mini angled brush and go into the shade Foreplay, this pinky purple right here. And I want to use that on my lower lash line, but I'm gonna keep it really condensed right beside my lower lash line and try to make it really super vibrant right there, because I think I want to try and go in and smoke it out with the shade Orange Crush so that we can kind of have that like orange smoky vibe going on the bottom as well as the inner corner, just to kind of tie everything in together. Plus, that'll help me see if one of these shadows can blend the other one out. I don't know if it's just me or maybe the wear time, or I don't really know exactly what it is, but putting this shade on top of the concealer now, it almost looks like it's the shade Bubblegum instead of a deeper purple shade, which they are really close in color, so you can't really tell the difference anyway. I was just noticing that it seemed a little bit harder to build up the pigment with it. I'm just not sure if it's because I'm putting it on top of concealer, like I said, on my lower lash line, or if it's because I'm working in smaller segments. Not really sure exactly. And now I'm gonna go back in with the JS6, and I'm just gonna take the same brush with the same orange that I used on it before and just pat that on the inner corner and try to blend it a little bit into the shade Foreplay. I just don't think I wanna bring it all the way to the end. I kinda want it to match the top. I actually really like that. It's just kind of a hint of the orange, but it still blends in with the pink. Okay, that side is done as well. I really like that. Those shades work beautifully together, and they blended beautifully together. Now the only thing that I feel like I'm lacking in this palette is an inner corner highlight or a brow bone highlight. I don't really see any of those shades in here. I mean, maybe the gold, but you see what it looks like on my eyelid in the center. It's not really highlight material. So I'm actually gonna reach into the Northern Lights Supreme Frost Pro palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and I'm gonna use the shade Anchorage right here in the middle. It has kind of an orange tone to it, but I think it'll be perfect for brow bone, and I'm also gonna put it on my inner corner as an inner corner highlight. Now this is officially the end of this look. What do you guys think? Is the eyeshadow good? Is it blended out? Are the colors pretty? Do you like it? Because those are all factors you're gonna have to think about if you get the Mini Breaker palette by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I think this palette is very pretty. I think it has a very interesting color story. It has amazing pigment and quality, as Jeffree Star Cosmetics eyeshadows typically do. I will say, because I have friends like this, and I know that there are tons of people like this, if you like neutral, nude, everyday palettes, do not get this palette. You're not gonna use it, you're not gonna like it. I think you could create maybe one nude look out of this palette. If you are okay with color and you're not afraid of it and you like it and you want to use it, then I would definitely recommend this palette based on the quality. Also, if you have never tried Jeffree Star's eyeshadows, I think this palette is a really great investment without having to spend $40 or $50 or $60. Granted, you're still gonna spend half that, and it is definitely more than drugstore cost, but you're getting a prestige brand and you're getting prestige quality. Once you feel a Jeffree Star shimmer, you're going to know what good quality eyeshadow feels like. And I mean that in all seriousness. The mattes, I mean, some of them feel super creamy, some of them feel kind of dry, honestly. It doesn't mean they're bad quality or that they just don't work, they just don't feel great. But you can truly see what a good shimmer feels like if you feel one of Jeffree Star's shimmers. All in all, personally, I would definitely recommend this palette, unless, like I said, you don't like color. That's really the only way I would not recommend this palette. So that is it for me on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the review and the video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot and lets me know that you like these kind of videos. Also, if you'd like, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. My username is the same for everything. It's simply Christopher J. MUA. And if you gain nothing else from coming to my channel and watching my videos, nothing else at all, please at least gain this, and that is to always remember and to never forget that you're beautiful. Bye guys.